Well, hello there, chums. It is I, Captain Steve, and I'm here today to tell you about a very special game that's coming this year, and it's called Biomutant. Now, Biomutant, it is what it says on the tin, basically. You create yourself a biomutant creature. Not only that, you've got Kung Fu frickin' skills. And mutant skills. You know, like X-Men? Mutant skills? Yes, you can actually have telekinesis and stuff and move things with the power of your mind. That is, if you make your mind big enough. So the bigger you make your head, the bigger the intelligence of your character, and the better the PsyOps skills it can actually wield. If you don't want to go for PsyOps skills and intelligence, you can make yourself a big burly guy and have like proper sort of, physical strength instead of mental strength. It looks freaking ace, and you can actually change that up later in the game, or you set your character at the start, but you can also mutate your creature later on. And yeah, so this is an example of some of the sort of creatures that you can have. I mean, look at them, they're so freaking cute, but then they pull out freaking knives and freaking ninja the heck out of stuff. There's a burly chap there, and you can see that he's got all combat gear on and stuff. But yeah, I like the look of this one. That's probably the sort of look of character I'm going to go for. The way it perches itself on a little bow there, that's freaking excellent, a bow staff. Yeah, so the weaponry in this is not just limited to these sort of like melee type weapons. Heck no, you can have all sorts of weapons, and the weapons themselves look quite modular, which is really quite nice. The world is open world, like I said before. Now, a lot of the abilities that you get for your character is going to help you in reaching some of these areas of the map. And you can align yourself with different dojos and learn different skills like turtle kung fu or crane kung fu and stuff like that. The crazy kung fu types. There's not like Jet Kune Do, martial arts skill of Bruce Lee, or like Tai Chi or anything like that. These are all sort of like creature orientated martial art forms. And you can see there they're wielding guns and all sorts. And I love the fact that all the little things pop out like boing and pow and whack and stuff like that when you hit people. And there's all sorts of machinery that you can use to traverse the landscape, as well as rideable mounts. So you can have like creatures that you ride on, but not only that, you can have like submarines and little sort of vehicles that you can traverse the landscape on as well. And it's all about the combat as well. It's very combat orientated. Now this comes from Experiment 101. They're the same people that brought us Just Cause. So I think you can imagine some of the crazy stuff that might go on. It's like you can fire an arrow and grab the arrow and fly with it. But yeah, the weaponry, you go to this guy called Honky, and yet you can craft out sort of different weapons. So you can have different handles and different blades, and each of these things have different sorts of attributes. And it's not just limited to the melee type, blade type weapons, it's also on the guns as well. So all the different elements that you stick together have different elements and different modules that you can plug in, and there's different perks. You can see all the different stats there. Oh, this looks freaking epic, and you can create these sort of weird things that look like some sort of little helper or some sort of wind-up droid. But then there's also the mental skills that I mentioned before, like the PsyOps, and that's probably one of those skills that they've got there. And you can levitate, and you can use that levitational skill to do other things as well. But if you don't want to go down that sort of mind route, you can actually equip things that you've actually built yourself, like these craftable sort of wings that you can fly with and things. Well, I say fly, it's more like glide. But yet, there's so much going on with this game. So not only do you actually craft your character, you can craft all these different sort of inventions and weapons to actually aid you to get you across the landscape, as well as having mounts, rideable mounts that you can use to traverse the landscape as well. So here you go, you've got hot air balloons, like I was saying, and there's submarines in some aspects where you have to go underwater to attack certain things. I mean, look at that, a little hoist that comes down. There's another bit in a bit where you see like a death slide where he goes down to like a crashed aeroplane, because this is like a dystopia universe or world where things have gone awry. I mean, I don't know whether this is left over from the human world or whether this world was always inhabited by biomutants. I can't wait to drop into the actual story and this verse to find out more about what's going on. But there's Choo Choo Chug there, and I believe he's a person that you interact with to get some of these gnarly inventions. There's this guy that makes keys. I don't know whether you have to get certain keys to unlock certain areas or to unlock different people that can help you out in the world, but it looks like there's where you can find some sort of like mounts that you can find in the wild to tame and maybe use to hunt down these giant creatures. So the main aspect of this is like this big tree, and where its roots land in the world is where you might encounter some big boss fights. I think there's mini bosses and then there's giant bosses that you have to attack to actually free up the mana, I guess, or something. I'm not too sure why you have to take out these creatures, but they're where all the roots intersect or land inside of the landscape. So here you go, it's called a jet spurt fluffy puff, and a lot of them are called fluffy, and you can see why. I mean, they are quite fluffy. I'm loving the furs on these creatures. Anyway, I'm just going to shut up for a minute and let you watch some of this sort of combat. Something else to mention, there's actually a seasonal weather system, so sometimes there might be a frozen lake that you can go across to reach some of these other sort of areas of the map that you couldn't reach before. It's mental! So this is the bit where you're on like this death slide going towards this big crashed plane, so it does look like it's got draws from at least our sort of verse. I don't know whether this is governed by humans or whether it's always been a biomutant dystopia, but check out this bit. So look at the background, it looks like there's a giant set of teeth coming up there. It looks like a giant underground sarlacc pit or a giant earthworm, and it just takes out a whole freaking town. I mean, that's mental. And yet, giant creature underwater, and you're in some sort of tactical weird squid sub trying to take out this underground turtley creature. It does have Monster Hunter vibe to it, doesn't it? Each of the different monsters looks like they've got their own characteristics and their own sort of personalities that you've got to deal with in combat. It just looks excellent, and I loved Monster Hunter, and it's got that sort of vibe to it. But not only that, it looks very steampunk-esque, as well as feudal Japan. It's all the things that I love thrown together in some sort of weird magical fusion pot. I don't know how to actually describe it. It's just a smeltation, if you like, of everything that I like. It's like a mutation of everything I like in one game, and I can't wait for it. I mean, I mentioned earlier that most of them are like fluffy in the name, but there's also this word puff that comes up along. I don't know whether each of the giant creatures like this one is a puff. If you come across a puff, are they the ones that come where the sort of the vines or the roots lay? I don't know, but it looks awesome. Look at that one. Look at the grid. Oh, jeez. And it looks like there's a lot of sort of environmental destruction going on here too. Anyway, I'll be quiet for a little bit longer and let you enjoy a little bit more footage. So in that last section there, you could see that he was using some mutant skills to make bits of rock fly up from the ground, and all sorts of other sorts of psi skills, as well as using his gun and other weapons. It seems that you can juggle all these abilities into this medley of craziness and combat, as well as the kung fu. Mind-blowing stuff. The only thing I would say that I feel that they've missed a trick on with Biomutant is it's a single-player game so far. There's no mention of cooperative play or online multiplayer. Now, I would love to see something added. I mean, it's not even out yet and I'm asking for things to be added. But it would be nice if there was some endgame content where all these creatures that you've beaten in single player are captured into some sort of arena, gladiator type style, I don't know. Or even in the environment that you can see here. And you can actually choose to play cooperatively with other players, with your friends, and re-fight each of these creatures as endgame content. I think that'd be awesome. At least then you can show off your Biomutant and the skills that you've developed, and actually fuse them together in maybe harder versions of these creatures. Anyway, that's Biomutant, and it's out on May the 25th. Put it in your calendars. I will be streaming it. See you then. Bye-bye. I want to say a massive great big thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And thank you to my backers over on Patreon and on YouTube membership. If you do want to support this channel, you could just not skip my adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or stay with Captain Steve a little bit longer and hit something on this screen. Heck yes, and there's also merch on this screen now. Awesome!